Rogers Show. Starring Roy Rogers, King of the Cowboys, Trigger, his golden Palomino, and Dale Evans, Queen of the West. With Pat Brady, his comical sidekick, and Roy's wonder dog, Bullet.
Hey, look, the story's right on the front page. Ballots for boy officials to be counted today. Local boys receiving most votes will be mayor and sheriff of Mineral City for a day.
Wonder who's gonna win.
I sure wish I was young again.
What would you run for, dog catcher?
Well, this is a great thing for the boys to run the city for a day. Teaches them good citizenship.
You mean they really run it?
Why, sure, for one day they have full authority, just like the elected mayor and sheriff. They can even sign official papers and everything.
But ain't that kind of dangerous?
Oh, not with the kids that are running for office. Why, they're the best boys in town.
Howdy, folks.
Hi, Sheriff.
Howdy. You too, Pat. Well, here's the ballot box. Dale, you and Roy have been picked to count the ballots and announce the results.
How about me?
You can watch. Just mark down the results, and I'll be back later.
All right. Let's start counting, Dale.
Okay, Pat, we'll call a count to you. Here's the first one. Bob Miner, sheriff.
I got George Pine, mayor.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Mr. Miner. Sit down.
No, thanks. We're not staying long. Have you thought over my proposition?
I sure have. Now listen, Mr. Miner. This is not right. What you're trying to do is neither fair nor legal.
Don't look at it that way, Tom. I need that grazing land. I'm running too many cattle on my own land.
I need that grazing land myself. What are my cattle going to do, starve?
Tom, you don't own that land. It belongs to the county. You simply lease it, and your lease is up tomorrow. Now, I'm willing to pay you not to renew that lease.
You ought to get out of the cattle business, Keith. You ain't had much luck at it no way.
I've been a cattleman all my life, and I'm not quitting now.
You're too stubborn for your own good.
Let him alone, Frank. I'm giving you a last chance, Tom. According to law, you can file to renew your lease first. But suppose you don't show up. Then it goes to the next name on the list. And guess who's next on that list?
I don't need to guess. I know. But get this, Miner. Nothing is stopping me from filing. Nothing.
All right, Tom. Let's go, Frank.
Pat, take a look at this.
Well, I'll be doggone. Somebody did vote for me for dog catcher.
Well, don't bother to put it down. You win, because there was no one running against you.
What are the results, Pat?
Well, according to this, Bob Miner wins the election for sheriff and George Pine is mayor.
Oh, good. They're a couple of fine boys. Say, why don't you and Pat get the boys over here tonight, and we'll give them some ice cream and cake to celebrate.
That's a good idea. Come on, Pat.
Everybody get enough to eat?
Wonderful, Dale. That's wonderful.
Well, thank you. You know, on such an auspicious occasion, I think somebody should make a speech.
Oh, fellow constituents,
Oh, no.
when I take over the office of dog catcher of this here county, I'll catch every dog in the county. Not you, Bullet, just the other dogs. Not your pals, just the strays. Folks, I just resigned.
Boys, I'm proud of you for winning this election. Starting tomorrow, you, Bob Miner, will take over my job. As sheriff, you'll be in charge of all county affairs in Paradise Valley. And since I'm the county recorder, you'll have a lot of paperwork to do, too. As for you, George Pine, as mayor of Mineral City, you'll take care of the city end of things. And between the two of you, you'll have charge of both county and city affairs, and good luck.
I just want to congratulate my nephew Bob on winning the sheriff's office. I'm mighty proud of you, Bob.
Well, I want to congratulate both of you, too. I know you'll do a real fine job. I only have one suggestion. If you run into anything you don't understand, don't be afraid to ask questions. That's what grown-ups are for, is to answer questions and help you kids. So congratulations to both of you.
Now, what I'm going to say isn't going to be very popular, I'm afraid, but the new sheriff and the mayor should get some sleep because tomorrow's going to be a hard day.
Well, that's a good idea. Let's go ahead.
Very good.
Just as I thought. Keith's out bright and early to file his claim for the grazing rights.
Hey, what's Bullet up to?
I don't know, but he seems alarmed about something.
It's Tom Keith.
Poor Tom.
A nicer feller never lived.
He's been bushwhacked. And by the size of the wound, somebody used a rifle on him.
Who would want to bushwhack Tom Keith? Why, he never harmed a soul in his life.
Where's Roy going?
Well, I don't know. Seems like he has a hunch. Pat, you better put Tom in Nellybelle and take him to the coroner's office.
Here's the empty cartridge case. It's a .45-70 caliber. Generally used for deer rifles.
Be pretty hard to trace the bushwhacker with that. Everybody around here uses hunting rifles and those cartridges.
Yeah, I know. But the slug from this cartridge killed Keith. To start, anyway. It looks like there were two men. And one of them's got a very narrow heel. See? Almost like a woman.
More like a fancy Dan. No woman would bushwhack Tom. Roy, who's going to tell Sarah? Her bedridden and all.
I'm afraid that's your job, Dale.
There never was a brother and a sister any closer together.
Well, I'll ride along and see the sheriff. You better go up to the Keith Ranch and look after Sarah. She'll be all alone.
Okay.
You take Bullet with you. I'll be up there later with the sheriff.
Come on, Bullet.
Oh, here it is, Uncle. And you're right. The claim to the grazing pasture must be refiled today by the,
Incumbent. That's Tom Keith.
Well, I guess we better wait and see if he'll show up.
He won't show up, Bob. He's letting me have the pasture land this time. It seems that he's giving up cattle raising.
Gosh, that's too bad. He's a real nice man.
But not a very good businessman. Fact of the matter is, I gave him a little something to forget the claim.
Well, then I reckon you rate the claim. I see your name's down here next. Just sign the register, and I'll make out the claim and put the county seal on it. I've been hoping something real official would come up for me today. And I sure wanted to use this seal. There you are. Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Bob, I owe the county treasurer a check for $100 as a fee. I've got it all made out.
Oh, yeah. I clean forgot.
There you are. Well, you've made the county $100. And you haven't been in office 2 hours.
Ain't that something? Sheriff will sure be proud.
Oh, where is he, by the way?
Went fishing. Told me not to tell anybody where. He's really taken today off.
Ah, that's good. Well, thanks, Bob. I'll see you tonight, perhaps.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Hello, Roy.
Hi, Letty.
The doc's inside with Keith.
Hi, Roy. I
Doc.
just removed this slug. There it is.
Too out of shape to tell much about it.
Well, I think it came from this empty cartridge case. It's a .45-70 caliber rifle.
Rifle, huh?
Yeah. Say, Doc, Dale went out to the Keith Ranch to look after Sarah. Don't you think you better go out and check her?
You're right, Roy. She'll probably be suffering from shock, and her heart won't stand too much. I'll go right out.
I'll drive you, Doc.
Oh, thanks, Pat. She'll probably require immediate attention.
Well, I'll go look up the sheriff.
I tried to find him myself, Roy, and I couldn't. He's gone fishing someplace.
Hey, that's right. Today is Boys' Day. Well, maybe Bob will know where he is.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doc.
Right. Well, Letty.
Yes, Doc.
Prepare my bag, please. I'll be right with you, Pat, as soon as I get my hat and coat.
Oh, hello, Mr. Rogers.
Hi, Bob. What are you doing, practicing?
In case I get any more business. Things been kind of dull around here today.
Well, it hasn't been dull where I just came from. Where's the sheriff?
Told me he was going fishing. Why? What's the trouble?
Tom Keith has been bushwhacked. Don't you know where the sheriff went?
Tom Keith. So that's why he didn't get here.
What are you talking about?
Tom Keith was supposed to refile his claim to the grazing pasture today. He had priority. But when he didn't show up, I let my Uncle Bill file the claim. See, he paid the $100 fee. That's county property, Mr. Rogers.
I know, Bob. I'll be responsible for it. Did the sheriff say where he was going?
Well, he told me not to tell anybody under no circumstances. But he went to Black Canyon River this morning.
Black Canyon River? Well, that's a 4-hour ride from here.
He wanted to get far enough away so people wouldn't bother him. He said if I was going to run things, I was going to run them alone. Mr. Rogers, did I do right in letting my Uncle Bill file the claim?
Well, I think if the sheriff were here, he might have given Tom a little more time.
But my Uncle Bill told me Mr. Keith was giving up cattle racing.
Well, from the looks of things, you're going to have to swear me in as deputy, and I'll take over until the sheriff gets back.
You mean I'm through already?
No, you're still sheriff, but looks like you need a deputy real fast, and I'm volunteering. Okay with you?
Why, sure, Mr. Rogers.
All right, I'll be at the Keith Ranch in case anything comes up.
I won't do anything without asking you first.
I know you won't, Bob, and don't you worry about this.
The hypodermic is taking effect already. She's asleep.
Well, at least she'll get some rest. Poor woman, I thought she'd go out of her mind when I told her about Tom.
We'll have to get someone up here to look after her.
I'll take care of her. Pat can look after the restaurant.
That's fine. That'll give me time to make arrangements for a nurse.
I can run a lot of cattle in this meadow.
Yeah. Hey, Miner, there goes Rogers.
And he's heading up to Keith's ranch house.
Snooping around like he always is.
Rogers could be dangerous if he gets wind of what happened. Let's get out of here.
Dale, when Sarah wakes up, give her a little beef broth or something like that.
All right.
How is Sarah, Dale?
Pretty poorly. I'm going to stay with her. Pat's taking Doc back into town and then going on to the restaurant.
I was just leaving.
Go ahead, Pat. I want to talk to Dale a while.
You know what to do, Dale.
Yes, sir.
See you a little later. Come on, Pat.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, is Mr. Miner in?
Yeah, he's in the back room taking a nap. You want me to wake him up?
No, don't bother.
Well, just what do you want to see him about?
I have a little business I want to take up with him.
Well, I'm his partner here in the cattle company. His business happens to be my business, too.
So you're his new partner, eh? Well, I can't say much for his taste.
Just what do you mean by that, Rogers?
You've been mixed up in some shady deals before, and everybody in town knows it. I can't understand why Bill would want to take you on as a partner.
Nobody can talk to me like that. If you'll take them guns off, I'll break every bone in your body.
I think I can fix that for you.
Come on, Roy, give him that old 1-2.
What's it all about?
You're a hard sleeper, Mr. Miner.
I was taking a nap until this ruckus woke me up. I'd still like to know what it's all about.
I think you were pretty hasty about taking over Tom Keith's claim to the grazing land. Was that before or after you knew he was dead?
Dead? I didn't know Tom was dead. How did it happen?
He was bushwhacked. And not long before you hoodwinked your nephew into giving you the pasture as the next claimant.
What are you trying to say, Roy? Are you saying that I bushwhacked Tom Keith for his claim?
I'm saying you got to the sheriff's office mighty fast and talked your kid nephew into putting the county seal on your claim.
If you want the truth, Roy, I paid Tom Keith not to refile. He was losing money in the cattle business anyway, and he was glad to pull out.
How come no money was found on Tom's body?
Well, I suppose he stashed it away or put it in the... How should I know what he did with it?
How much did you give him?
That's a personal matter. But it was $1,000. Coker here is my witness. Is that right, Frank?
That's right. But that's none of Rogers' business.
Did you pay cash or check?
I check. I don't usually carry that much money in my pockets.
Okay, I think that's all the information I want for now.
Just a minute, Rogers. Why are you so interested in this? After all, it's county business, and that means the sheriff.
Your nephew, the sheriff for a day, appointed me his deputy.
Bob, I've got to have the original of that claim we filed a while ago. I've got to take it over to the county seat right away.
Why? I'm supposed to keep all papers here for the sheriff to see.
I don't care what you're supposed to do. Someone is trying to swindle me out of that pasture land, and I'm taking measures. Now, where is it?
I can't let you have it, Uncle Bill. Matter of fact, there's some question about the whole transaction.
Listen, kid, we ain't got no time to waste with you. I'll get that paper for us, or you might get hurt.
Mr. Rogers said there was something funny about this. Now I know it.
Bob, listen to me. I am your uncle, your father's only brother. Would I do you any harm? Now, someone is trying to cheat me out of that pasture land. In order to prove that it's mine, I've got to take all of those papers over to the county seat. That's legal, isn't it?
It's legal to let things take their natural course.
I've got no time to fool with you. I want that paper. Here it is. Now, where's my check?
Rogers took it. He said he'd be responsible.
You're lying.
No, I'm not. Ask him.
All right, that's the least of it. I can always write another check. Let him go, Frank. Now, listen to me, Bob. What I am doing is right. Someone is trying to cheat me out of that claim by going direct to the county seat, and I'm not going to let him. You keep still about this, do you understand? I'm your uncle, remember that. And if you blabble about this, it'll reflect on the whole family. Do you understand, Bob? Come on, Frank.
Wait a minute, Bill. I don't trust this kid. He'll run straight to Rogers. We better tie him up and throw him in the closet.
You're right. Use this. Put him in the closet, and we'll let him out when we get back from the county seat.
You don't need to tie me up.
Shut up.
I'll go over to the office and get into my boots. I'll come back with the horses.
Constituents, fellow constituents and voters, if I'm elected governor of this here state, I'll promise you bigger fish for the fishermen and bigger ducks for the duck hunters. Pow! Oh!
Go right ahead, Pat. Don't let me stop you.
Well, Roy, I was just practicing and... Say, how's Miss Sarah?
I'm just going to call Dale and find out. Hello, operator. Will you get me the Tom Keith Ranch, please?
Hello? Oh, hello, Roy. Sarah, she's still sleeping from the sedative Doc Williams gave her.
Well, listen. Let me know when she wakes up. I'll be right here at the restaurant. Sarah may have the key to the murder of her brother. Bill Miner claims he paid off Tom with a $1,000 check not to refile. So I want to talk to Sarah just as soon as I can.
Well, I'll call you at the restaurant as soon as she wakes up, and then you can come out. But you can't talk to her long, Roy. She's pretty weak. Okay. See you later.
What's up now?
I've been thinking. Rogers is going to ask a lot of questions of Martha, Tom's sister, about that check I was supposed to have given him.
Yeah, that ain't all. She might have heard that argument we had with him yesterday in his living room.
I understand she's pretty sick. The doctor had to give her a shot to put her to sleep after she heard about Tom's death.
I get it. We're supposed to see to it that she takes a long sleep.
Seems to me we should attend to that before we go to the county seat.
You're right.
Just like the clues from that detective correspondence course I used to take.
But most important is Sarah's testimony. She's sure sleeping a long time. How about another cup of coffee, Pat?
Sure, Roy.
I'm worried about her, Bullet. She's sleeping too long. Doc said she should have some warm broth. Maybe I ought to call the doc. Guard her, Bullet.
Let's dismount here. Now, you circle around to Sarah's window and climb in. I'll go out the front of the house and make sure everything's clear.
All right.
Operator, will you try Doc Williams again? Well, then give me the Eureka Café. Bullet, what's the matter?
Get out!
Roy, there's something wrong here.
Drop that phone. And your gun. Now, call Roy back. Tell him everything's okay. Pick up that phone and call Rogers.
I'm taking after Miner. You go on to the ranch house. Okay, Miner, let's go.
Oh, shucks. Late as usual. Relax, Sheriff. You're late, too.
They tied me up, but I got here as soon as I could.
For land's sakes, what's all the ruckus about?
Bob, here comes Roy with your uncle.
He's no uncle of mine anymore.
Hey, Charlie, to the back!
Where'd you get the sardines, Sheriff?
All over it, Black Cat. Sardines?
Well, right here's all the evidence we need to convict these men of murder.
Pat, are you sure Doc Williams doesn't need me anymore?
On my honor, Dale, he said the nurse he hired was real capable.
Well, glad to see you all here. Take a look at these fish. Ain't they beauties? Well, anything exciting happened while I was away?
Not much. Tom Keith was murdered.
And his sister Sarah was almost murdered, not to speak of me.
Bill Miner tried to swindle the county out of its grazing lands.
Now, I got tied up and thrown in a closet.
Whoa, wait a minute. One thing at a time.
Sheriff, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Ashamed? What for?
For taking them poor little smelts away from their smelters.
I'll smelter you.
That dumb you, Sheriff. Did you take a joke? Why?
Happy trails to you. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails.